Hey, what's up? What's going on, you guys? This is Edgar again from Snug Wrestling, and some interesting just came up to me that I wanted to share with everybody, and it involves NXT. We have been seeing a lot of the main roster talent from WWE, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown going back and forth to NXT and vice versa. NXT has been sending a lot of their talent to the main roster as of late. We've seen Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and also in the last draft, there was a lot of NXT call ups, such as the Pretty Deadly, Grayson Waller, and many, many more. It's looking like WWE is trying to make NXT more relevant. And by relevant, I mean trying to raise NXT to that level where Raw and SmackDown is. Instead of having two main shows and NXT as developmental, I think WWE is trying to raise NXT's credibility so people can start looking at NXT as a third brand instead of just a developmental brand. So to me, SmackDown is the A show because they pull the most ratings. Raw would be the B show. NXT would be the C show. But the way things have been going, a lot more people have been watching NXT. And I think that's great. And it just means that we're going to have a lot more wrestling to watch here, guys. And I'm excited for it. We saw recently the women's tag team champions, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, challenged the NXT women's champions who also got called up to the main roster from NXT, and they brought the NXT belts to the main roster, but the women's tag team champions from the main roster challenged the women's NXT tag team champions in a unification match. So the winners get all the gold. So, for example, if Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler were to win that match, they keep all the belts, which means that NXT won't have women's champions anymore. It would just be one set of women's tag team champions. And I know this can get confusing. It was really confusing to me as well, especially when the draft was happening. The Raw women's champion went to SmackDown. The SmackDown women's champion, Rhea Ripley, was on Raw. They got the new belts, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of this, and it got me thinking. You have people like Mustafa Ali, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler that are quote-unquote free agents that are going back and forth from SmackDown to NXT, Raw to NXT, and vice versa. They're feuding with people from NXT, and those same feuds are being televised in the main rosters. So I'm starting to notice a pattern here. I'm starting to notice a lot more NXT, not just the people that got called up during the draft, but also the people that are still in NXT. Another example, Seth Rollins recently had a match versus Braun Breaker on NXT. Now, there has been times where the main roster heavyweight champion goes down there to kind of just make an appearance, but I want to say this is the very first time that the main roster championship belt actually gets defended down there on NXT. Seth Rollins, he's trying to start a reputation as a working champion, a fighting champion. Anyone and everyone can get it. He will defend the title anytime, anywhere, any place. Braun Breaker answered that, but Braun Breaker is on NXT. So I was expecting the match to take place on Monday Night Raw in the main event, in the main roster, but no, this happened on NXT TV on Tuesday night. So this is a really, really good look for NXT. It's a good look for the NXT people, and it's creating a lot of good opportunities for the younger, hungrier talent. It's also good for the main roster because I'm starting to notice a lot more talent rotation. We've been seeing the Pretty Deadly get some good wins. They're getting partnered up with the U.S. champion Austin Theory. Zoe Starks is with Trish Stratus right now, so WWE is really focusing on the future, which is great. But it also makes me wonder, does this have anything to do with AEW Collision? AEW last week started their third show. They have Dynamite, they have Rampage, and now they have Collision on Saturday night with CM Punk as one of the headliners, Samoa Joe, Miro, and many, many more big names. Is WWE trying to do this because they're starting to feel the pressure? Now, I know rating wise, WWE is the leader in the ratings, and right now, AEW is not really much of a competition to WWE. Rampage, their ratings have went downhill long ways. They started at around 7 or 800,000 down to 600,000, and now I believe they're averaging around 300,000 viewers on Fridays. Collision did around 800,000 viewers. Dynamite usually does around the same 800,000, 900,000 viewers. So AEW, their viewership is pretty consistent, but with Collision now, they have a good chance, and especially after seeing their last show was pretty different compared to Dynamite, compared to Rampage, which is a good sign. I think if Collision, if they have a different take on what AEW is used to putting out, then they could get a lot more viewers. So I don't think it's a coincidence here that both companies are going to be running 3 main shows, and I think it's going to be good. I hope that NXT and the people from NXT get more eyes down there in that product. I know I'm going to be watching more, and this is going to be great. I mean, there's a lot of wrestling going on right now, a lot to talk about right now. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And I'm excited to tell you guys all about this. Keep an eye out for NXT. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT slowly forming together into this big trifecta of wrestling shows instead of having 2 main shows and developmental. I think we have an NXT coming up in the rise once again, so be on the lookout for that, you guys. Let me know what you guys think at Snug Wrestling. Again, my name is Edgar, and we'll talk to you guys later.